Okay, hi you all. I can't believe there's literally there's going to be over 70 of us on here, which is incredible. It just keeps going up and up. So I'm so excited that y'all made the time to jump on this meeting. Um, and you're taking this time to learn and grow because that's so huge. And that's something we learned about this last week too. But let me just tell you what we're even going to be doing tonight, because you may be like, what are y'all talking about? Where did you even go last week? So let me just break it down. So last week we got to go to Leadership Excellence, which is Plexus Jewel training. So they invited all the jewels, but it was less than 150 of us that got to go out there. And essentially what this was is we paid for our flight out there, y'all, and then we got there and we each had our own hotel room that was actually very nice. I remember even when we went to Mexico this year, I was like, maybe they just put us in like some crappy place because they're paying for all of us. And then you're like, this is so nice. Like they go all out. So we all had our own hotel room. They paid for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, all of that. And the main reason they brought us out there though is because we had in-depth training. Like y'all, we were sitting in a room from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., but learning all the things. Like we have these workbooks and they're like completely filled out with notes. And the reason they do that is because Plexus truly values every single one of us. I made a post recently about like, obviously they're looking at numbers because we have a rocking business and we want that so that we can keep making money, we can keep helping people, and Plexus can do the same. But they truly look at every single one of us like a real person. Like I got a video of Jim Viev saying like, we value you all, we love you all. And they really do. Anytime you get to talk with anyone at corporate, you will realize that. But this week, it was just incredible. And you're going to get to hear about that from each of us. First, I'm going to tell you all just a glimpse into my business story and one takeaway I have, and then we're each going to tell you something that we learned. But I also want you all to know, like, we're not sharing about this shiny, fun trip to be like, oh, this was so fun. Like, you should have been there. We're sharing because the stuff we learned there is going to help you go there the next time they do it. It's not something that is out of reach for you. Like if you start implementing this stuff, they're doing another one in the spring, I'm pretty sure, and in the summer and in the fall. They're going to keep doing them. And eventually you will be a jewel and you'll be able to go and you'll be training your team on this. And so that's what I want you to think about when you hear these things is it's only as good as you implement it, right? Like we can learn all the things, but until we actually do it, it's not worth the crap because it's just in our brain floating around. And so really take time, like take notes, take this in, but like build your belief of like, I'm going to be at the next one. Cause y'all, when I went to convention in 2019, which I'm about to tell you a little bit about my story, like I have a chair back from one of the Emerald seats. And I said, I'm going to be Emerald when I go back. And maybe my timeline might've been different, but June of 2020, I went Emerald because I didn't give up. And so that's what I'm going to talk to y'all about. So a little bit about my story. I joined in the very end of January of 2019. I was 18 years old at the time, and I'm not going to tell y'all about all the health stuff because if you're on here, you probably know it works. Like you wouldn't be sharing if you didn't know the products worked. So clearly I saw benefits I wanted to share. And in terms of my business story, it took me a full month to go silver. The next month I added 18 people, but I didn't retain any of my people from going silver. So I still didn't go gold, I'm pretty sure. But that month I made well over $1,000 and was like, this is so real. And then I went to convention. And I always say if I hadn't gone, I wouldn't still be here because I saw all of those. Oh, let me make sure everyone's good. I saw all of those jewels on the floor and I saw those chairbacks and I was like, I want to be them. Like I want to do that. And if you've never been, y'all, you've got to go next year to Ohio because it will change everything for you. But then for a whole year, I wasn't like full out in my business, but I was consistent, which is what I'm going to speak to y'all about. And it adds up. One thing we learned this week is consistency compounds. And a quote I want to share with you that they told us is success comes through sustained effort. The key word in that sentence is not effort, it's sustained. I know a lot of times we're like, all right, I'm going full out. I'm sending 20 reach out messages a day. And we do that for 2 days. And then we just like don't do them the rest of the month because we're burnt out because we try to go too hard on the effort part when really we just need to be sustained and consistent. So for a whole year, y'all, I did not hit my gold points, but I kept posting. I kept talking to people. I kept getting on the team calls. And there could have been so many times that I could have been like, yeah, I'm just not going to do this anymore. It's not working. I'm only making $100 a month. I'm only covering my products. But I kept doing it. And guess what? In April of 2020, I went senior gold. That's the next time I ever hit my gold points. Literally took me a whole year to ever hit them again. I actually ranked up the same time. And from there, I went ruby, senior ruby, and then emerald. And we've been able to keep growing from there and go through all different seasons of our business. But all of that was from consistency and keep on going. I know a girl under me, Olivia's on here, and she actually quit. Y'all, we went gold the same time, and she quit. And recently she told me, like, I wonder if I hadn't have quit at that time, if I would be emerald. And you never know. Her timeline could have been completely different. And she's back because she sees the beauty in this business model, and she's Ruby now. But that just shows you that one decision to either keep going or to give up. That's what changes everything. Literally, we always hear it, the only way you fail is if you quit. And that is so true. That's what I want to stress to y'all is consistency. Just give you a glimpse into my story and how you can be at that next leadership excellence. And also, if you're talking about retreats and trips with Plexus, I wanted to touch on too. Every single one of us, we're all working towards Orlando, or I hope you are, and that's in March. And even if you've got 10 credits right now, you can get 700 credits and you can be in Orlando in March on that trip. There's no reason you can't. You get to decide how consistent you're going to be these next couple months in your business and grow that. And I hope that I get to see all 80 of y'all at Leaders Retreat. So if you're working towards Leaders Retreat, put in the chat what thing you're going for. Are you trying to just get to the retreat? Are you going for the shopping spree? You want the Disney tickets? What is it? I want to know. But I'm going to hand this over to Roxy to share her story and a little bit about what she learned this week too.
Hey everyone, thank you, Lauren. And yes, I will make it. I know we're having a couple guest speakers, and I don't know about y'all. I don't know if you can see my eyes, but I'm struggling with this time change. I'm like, my 5-year-old woke up at 5 o'clock this morning, and at like 6:30, she's like, "Is the bus ever gonna come?" I'm like, she's used to it being 7:30 at this time, so we're all struggling over here. But yes, this trip, y'all, was just, it's something that I personally have needed. I'm sure we all need that human interaction, especially in today's world. We just, we haven't been able to go places. We haven't been. Sorry, I got muted for a second. We haven't been able to go. And sorry, I have to keep unmuting myself. I actually earned Mexico, but didn't go just because the risk factors, and I didn't want to get risk getting stuck there, and the pros didn't outweigh us taking our kids, so we ended up taking the cash. So I was really needing to just be surrounded by jewels, be surrounded by my peers, and really be poured into, because if I'm being honest with y'all, I needed it. A little bit about my story. I joined Plexus just for the discount. Like, I wanted to feel better. I had just had my daughter. I had baby weight to lose. I didn't feel like myself. And I really wanted nothing to do with the business. I had done network marketing before, was never successful, and just wanted the products to feel better. Long story short, we all know the products work, they sell themselves, and people were asking me what I was doing, and it just kind of accidentally happened. So for me, I was going to talk about like belief and mindset. I feel like in the beginning of my journey, my belief, y'all, was strong because I fell in love with the products. Like, genuinely, that's why I ended up selling the products, because I love them. My belief was strong. I was losing weight. I was feeling better. I was feeling like myself again. I was sleeping better. I was going to the bathroom, and I felt like my belief was like skyrocketed. But I feel like there is a point in your business where your belief is like, why am I doing this again? What am I doing? And you get stuck in a part of your business. Like Lauren said, she was stuck at gold. And I feel like some people think that maybe their journey was so easy, but I feel like we're all stuck at some point in our journey, and we really have to pull out why we're doing this. And for me, like, mindset is such a big thing. Like Lauren says, we can work for 2 days and then we're like, oh, let's take a week off. like consistent efforts every day and doing things that are going to grow your business and grow your team. And for me, it was not treating my business like a hobby and treating it like a business, y'all. I had been treating my business, which I was like gut punched at this training, that I feel like I definitely have been treating this as a hobby, not a business. I do a lot of things over the phone. I send voice messages. And one of my flaws is I'm not getting in front of people. I'm not making that human connection in meeting for coffee and meeting for lunch. Yes, I do that occasionally, but this is my job. I need to be doing this during the day. Like I need to meet for coffee at least 2 days a week with someone on my team and build that connection. It's so important for your team and to grow and to create that culture in your team. And that's just such a huge, huge deal. And I will say I met with one of my team members today for coffee, a potential. She ended up signing up. She's wanting to run with the business. And I just like, I felt so good afterwards just having that connection. And I just feel like it's so important for your team to feel that too. There's just one thing that, let me see, one of these quotes in this book. Where did it go? It said, never underestimate the empowering effect of a human connection. All you need is that one person who understands you completely, believes in you, and makes you feel loved for who you are to enable you to unfold the miraculous you. Yeah, that is like so true. Like sometimes you just need that human connection to be like, I believe in you. And y'all, the girl that I met with today that ended up signing up, she literally cried. It's like in front of me, like, because I was like, why do you want this? Like I dug deep, you know, like, why do you want this? What is it about this business that can change something for you? And she just started bawling and was telling me all the things that it could help with her business. And I feel like we have products that are life-changing, but we also have a business opportunity that is life-changing. And I feel like for us, we need to be more bold in that. And I know for me, that is a fact. Like I need to be more bold and ask the tough questions and get in front of people's faces and build that connection. And I feel like, you know, my business and y'all's business, if you did that too, would explode just by creating that connection, that bond, and that belief in your team. So yeah, that was one of the big takeaways that I took away, and I'm like running with it. And like Lauren said, I'm being consistent, and I'm ready to go diamond. I've been at Emerald for 2 years. My husband, I got to Emerald too. So we are a double jewel household, which is a huge deal. And I try to like remind myself that like, you did this twice, Roxy, like that's amazing. But I want to go sapphire. I want to go diamond. And I feel like that's what's lacking, is that connection and building that within my team. Robin Sullivan has been my girl. I know some of y'all are on Robin's team. Me and Robin have, I mean, I don't know how many phone calls we've had, and she's just, and it's just like, her team is incredible. I mean, she has so many diamonds on her team. Summer, you're on her team, right? I mean, it's just like the culture that she has created and on her team is like, it gives me chills. And what she's done, I'm like, I'm going to do what Robin did. Like, she's just incredible. So I'll go ahead and pass my mic. I'm not really sure who I'm giving it to, but.
All right, I think that's me, right? All right, hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Can everybody hear me? Got me? Okay. All right, so share a little bit of my story. My name's Nicole Barker, and I just totally replicate everything everybody said. I wish we could just bottle up that energy, that excitement. I missed being in person so much, and it was just phenomenal to be in that room with everyone. A little bit about my story. I'm an attorney by education, so this wasn't anything that was in my realm of anything I thought was possible in my life. I worked in pharmaceutical litigation. I was very career-minded. I was very happy with where I was. But then I had that first baby, and everything changed. I never imagined that I would want to be home with him. But something about when they put that baby in my arms, things changed, and he became number one. My husband and I decided at that point that we were going to make some sacrifices, and decided that I would stay home with him and would stay home until our eventual kiddos would get into kindergarten. But we sacrificed a lot, right? And initially I thought that was just financially. 2 incomes, that was our sacrifice. I had no idea that that also sacrificed a lot of who I was. sacrificed a lot of my identity, sacrificed my health. I was constant mom, right? My husband was traveling all the time. I had a 2 and a 4-year-old when Plexus initially found me, and I was really run down. I was sick, I was tired, and I just didn't know who I was anymore. And I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with this beautiful life that I had created, and I couldn't figure out why. So I had posted, right? I had shared that I wasn't feeling well and that I was unhappy. And a friend of mine from college, Emily Fennell, is my sponsor and friend. And if you guys know her, super sweet, amazing girl. And I just blew her off. And I didn't want to have anything to do with this. But she was persistent. And I told her at one point that I needed real medicine. Yes, that's come back to bite me a few times. And that I didn't need her silly little pink drink, right? But one night, I was just at that point where I was ready to try anything. And so in secret, with a secret credit card, not telling my husband, I jumped online, I ordered a welcome pack, had no idea what I was doing, and signed up as an ambassador just for the discounts. I even had it sent to a house that we hadn't even closed on yet because I wanted to make sure that I would intercept that package. And I started the products, and I think so many of you can attest. I started feeling like something was different, right? But skeptical, me, born, I was an attorney. I was more made to be skeptical about everything. And so I was sure that this was just a placebo effect. But my husband, one night as we were getting ready to go to bed, he didn't know what was going on, right? Whispered in my ear and said, I am so happy to have my happy wife back. And it was just that moment where you're like, I don't need that after picture. I don't need this huge pound loss or this miraculous story. That happy was what I had been chasing for years. And so I just started sharing, not knowing what I was doing, just sharing, telling people my story and inviting them to come along with me. And my business blew up, right? People were joining me. It was incredible. I thought, this is amazing. I didn't know what all the ranks were, but we were just signing people up. We got silver and gold and senior gold, and we're approaching Ruby, and things stalled. Things got quiet, right? I thought I was going all the way, right? I was going to go straight up to diamond, and then I was going to turn around. I was just going to do it again because that's what we do, right? But that wasn't my story. And so I got really frustrated, and I'm a very driven person, and I believe that if I set a goal, I'm going to reach it. And I was very frustrated with myself. And in fact, it was December 2019 that I was ready to quit. We had dropped to from almost senior Ruby to barely senior gold. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I was sure that this was too hard. This wasn't supposed to be this hard, and I wasn't made for this, right? And I was done. And so told the husband one night, got it all together and said, I'm quitting. I'm done. Over it. He said, okay, great. What are you going to do instead? And I just melted. There wasn't anything else I wanted to do. I didn't want to go back to law. That wasn't where my heart was. I loved what I got to do. I loved the people I got to do. I loved these products. I wanted to go to the top with this company. I didn't just want to go to the top. And so I decided that we were gonna do it again, right? And Roxy said, we built it. I knew we could do it again. And so very much like Lauren, we just jumped in and started getting to work and focusing on the good stuff. And our team just exploded. We re-ranked Ruby, I think in April, senior Ruby in May, and then went Emerald in July. So everything went very quickly, and I was up on that mountaintop. And that's really what really hit me from this. Krista Deary, amazing Diamond Senior Ruby Ambassador shared about those mountains and those valleys. And I think a lot of us who've been around for a little while have seen those. And we've learned that that's kind of part of the journey, right? We have those high highs and we have those lows. But if you're anything like me, you really want to get back up to that mountain, because that's where the fun is. And I found myself really trudging through the valley, just looking at the mountain and not really appreciating what was going on around me. But just as fast as we hit that mountain in July of 2020, I was thrust off that thing. It wasn't just slipping, it wasn't just falling, it was somebody just picked me up and just threw me down to the valley. We decided that my kiddos' virtual school wasn't going well, and so we decided to homeschool. We dove in with our own curriculum. My parents were going through a devastating financial collapse, bankruptcy. They were in danger of losing a property that had been in our family for over 60 years. My dad was diagnosed with cancer, and it was just rock bottom, right? And it was in that season that I found myself thinking about those same thoughts. This is too hard. This is not supposed to be this way. This isn't, I want to be up at that mountain, right? But I loved how Krista talked about that mountain wasn't made to sustain us. That mountain is not where the soil is rich. That is not where the planting happens. That is not where the flowers grow. That is not where all the beautiful things come. That top of that mountain is meant to be appreciated and celebrated and looked at as the place that we want to be, but then we got to go back down and we got to do the work and we've got to do the planting and we've got to go down and grab more hands to take back up to, right? So that really hit for me, because it was in that valley that I learned so much. My kids, we had such an incredible time homeschooling. That was a blessing that I never imagined was possible. I got time to learn how my kids learn. I got to experience who they are at school, something I had never seen before. My son was struggling. We thought we were going to have to take a lap year and hold him back before that. He's had learning difficulties since he was 3. He is thriving back in public school. He is confident. He is a different student. My daughter, I know what I need to do to challenge her. I was able to be there for my parents through cancer treatments. They lived with us through that time. I'm in Kansas City. They were able to be here instead of their small town and have the top, most amazing treatments. And we were able to save that property for my parents. We were able to keep it in our family. And now we are completing a home that is set for 12 years unfinished. That was their dream that died. And we are able to finish that for them, to live out their retirement and to continue to bless generations. So this absolutely hit me and made me realize and understand that there is a purpose to the pain, that this is where you're supposed to be. It may not feel like that, but it's supposed to be hard. I loved a quote that Krista shared, that mountaintops inspire leaders, valleys mature them. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And this story that you're writing is beautiful. So enjoy that valley and know that you'll be at that top again. Who am I passing off to? Who's next? Summer, are you up?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay.
That is so awesome. You're hard to follow, Nicole. So that's so inspiring and such an amazing story. Goodness. Y'all, the power of this opportunity is just like nothing else out there. And so just to introduce myself again, I'm Summer Godfrey, and I actually hit Emerald this year, March. I'll say not just me, but my team. We hit Emerald March of this year, and to be there at the leadership training was just, it was really surreal, and it was really everything that I needed and more. You didn't really know what you're walking into, but I mean, it's going to be excellent because it's Plexus, right? But I believe that it exceeded my expectations. It really did. I thought I couldn't love the company anymore. Like, I feel like my love for the company is like 1000%, And so, I mean, it just went up a whole bunch more notches this past week. And so it was invaluable. And as I was sitting there, I was just hoping that, I was seeing next year, like, I want all of my team here, you just want so many more people to experience it, because you can't quite put it into words. What we're trying to give you right now, y'all, I'm sorry, we're doing the best we can, but this is not doing it justice. It's one of those things you have to be there to experience. It's an experience. So I'm just going to share a little bit of my journey, and then some of the tips of what I learned along the way as well. But I started Plexus not because I was looking for a business. I literally was just desperate for my health. And I did not even want to start Plexus, honestly. It was my husband that saw amazing Robin Sullivan, my upline, that I've been knowing her since middle school. So she's dear to my heart. I was her big sister in middle school. So, so I had been following her journey, right? But I was not convinced that it was for me. And I really wanted her to, I didn't want to disappoint my sweet friend. I loved her dearly, and I did not want to have to tell her, no, girl, no, thank you. I'm not interested in Plexus. So I was avoiding all of her posts. And my husband comes to me and he says, babe, we need to try this. And for me, that was huge, because what I'm not telling you guys is that I was disabled. I was disabled. I needed Plexus so bad, but I didn't know what it was, right? So it was out of ignorance that I was thinking I didn't need it. So my husband, says, baby, I sense the Lord on this. We really need to try this product. And I'm like, oh, okay, when you say the Lord, all right. I can't fight that. I can't argue with that. So I committed to trying it. I was not expecting anything, zero, because, I don't feel any change with vitamins or, So I tried the products, you guys, and in 3 days, I had my life back. I was actually deemed disabled at 17, 18 years old. Due to chronic back pain. And in just 3 days, Plexus changed my life. And I was out of the bed and I had my life back. It was like somebody just turned my life from black and white to color. And so my mind is still blown 6 years later, but I started the business because it was like a no-brainer. Literally, the Lord started nudging me before my products came. And I knew I had to just step out there and obey him and share. And I was scared to do that, but I did it. And before my products arrived, I had hit silver. So I'm like, yeah, and I'm all in, like I'm in my messenger all day, every day, all night, you're just like, oh, who else can I talk to? And so I, quickly hit gold. I think back then that was quick because we didn't have these instant points that, like these instant rank ups when you get your points. Back then, we used to have to wait a month before they would show that you had 100 points to go gold, that you still had them. And so, yeah, so it took 3 months, which wasn't long back then, to go gold. Still not long. But, I'm like, yeah, like others have said, like, oh, we're going diamond. Yeah. And, and then there's senior gold. And I stayed at senior gold for a little while, and for me, it was like each rank was, I got a chance to really look at myself and say, well, what is it that I'm missing? What is it going to take for me to be I want to go senior gold. What is it going to take for me to lead a senior gold team? That's what I was after. And then each step, well, what is it going to take for me to lead a Ruby team and be Ruby? And so, that's the big question, is what is it going to take? So I stayed there at senior gold for a while, longer than I planned to. I think that was a couple of years. And then, where am I? Ruby. I was like, oh my gosh, like I hit Ruby. Oh, what? Ruby? That was like a big, big deal. Then there was senior Ruby. Okay, so I'm all excited. And, just like Nicole shared, I went from senior Ruby points to senior gold points. And then it's like, oh my gosh, literally I felt like all this work was in vain. Like that's how it feels. It feels like I did all that. I gave my all. That was blood, sweat, and tears, And so what is happening? And you're like, how can I do anything more? And so, it really is all about the journey. And so looking back now, like I appreciate all of that pain, all of it. Like I needed it. I needed those moments the most. So, finally, we hit Emerald, and God just really moved and brought, I already had an amazing team there. And then God brought two of my sweet, sweet friends to join me on this journey. And they wanted to run, and we hey, let's run. And so, my one friend went fast start, and that's Lavina Slaughter, went fast start senior Ruby in 4 months, fast start senior Ruby. My other friend, they both started in January, went fast start Ruby. And so our team, we all pulled it off though. The ones that have been there, the ones that were new, we all came together and pulled it off. But from there, I can tell you, literally, as I look back, it was like, this is amazing. And it is so worth it. In Mexico, like you're pinching yourself and you're going, how did I deserve to be here? Whose life is this? Like that's how you'll feel. Okay. So in the beginning, you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm not getting paid for all the work I'm doing. You're not going to feel like it's equaling, like it's making sense, right? But as you keep going, it's the compound effect. As you keep going, oh my goodness. And I haven't even hit diamond yet. So I can't even imagine what that's going to feel like. Oh my Lord. But I can tell you that all of your work, all of the effort it pays off as we are all telling you on this call tonight. So one of the things that stood out to me from our training was Kyle Rainey did the segment on loving the people that you lead. And so I think that that's just so pivotal, because we can be looking at all the ranks, right? And it's so not about that. Now it feels fulfilling and it's rewarding, but what is the most rewarding thing to me is the lives that are being changed, and how well am I loving the people that God has sent to my team. They could have landed on anyone else's team. So am I grateful for the people that have joined me? Am I serving them well? We're serving leaders. So how am I serving them? Am I serving them well? So those are some of the questions that you'll want to ask yourself about your team that you're growing. And it's all about how a person feels. If we didn't feel so loved from Plexus, we wouldn't be here. We would not be here if the culture wasn't the way it was, if Alec and Tara weren't amazing, Genevieve, oh my gosh, the leaders, Matthew, Aaron, just being there with all of them, you feel the love, like you feel it. It's almost tangible. And so one of the things, I'm gonna read about 4 things here about great leaders. Great leaders understand what motivates them before they try to motivate others. So, you've got to know yourself. You got to know what you're motivated by. Hopefully one of those things is loving others well. And hopefully that does motivate you. Great leaders desire their teammates to reach their full potential. Okay, so that is huge. This isn't about you just reaching your potential. Yeah, we want that, but we're not going to get there if we're not helping our people. The focus needs to be helping our people to reach their potential. Great leaders focus on both their mindset and their heart position towards those that they lead. So that's going to be a constant thing, because is everybody going to do what you suggest to them that they should do? No. Is everybody going to show up when they should show up? No. Are some of those people you see more in them, it seems like, than they see in themselves? Yes. And so you're going to have to be able to love them through those hard times, love them through the things that they're doing that, it's like, oh, I wish they would get it. You're going to have to love them, through those things. So great leaders combine love with leadership. So I want to touch on that point really quickly, because love with leadership. Sometimes we have an idea in our minds that love is just, oh, yeah, I understand. Okay, All right. Well, I know you're going through a hard time. I'm gonna pray for you. And if you need anything, I'm here. And we let them let their business just fall to the wayside, going through their hard time. So I'm here to tell you that if you fall into that category and you don't want to offend someone when they're going through something hard, it's all about your care and your heart. You don't have to offend someone, but loving them well and leading them well is saying, hey, but what about your business during this time? I don't want to see you senior gold and then roll back to silver points. What can we do to try to keep this? You know what I'm saying? Like you've got to bring that to their attention as well, and challenge people to, everybody has life that hits them. We all do. But what about seeing that hard scenario that happened and turning it and looking at it? Well, you know what? Girl, I hear what you're going through. But from what I'm hearing, this is why you need this business all the more. What if that helped to shift the person's focus to, you are so right. I cannot afford to not have this income coming in. I cannot afford to not hit that goal or to keep going. I can't afford to lose what I've worked so hard to gain. So keep that in mind. Loving is not just, and being a leader is you can't lead like that. It's called commiserating. And we talked about there last week. You can fall into just commiserating and just being like, oh girl, I know it is so rough. Life is hard, and just stay there. That's not leading well. Okay. So some key notes that I wrote down. If you don't love on your team, you'll be rebuilding and reviving every 3 months. Every 3 months, you'll be rebuilding a new team. That's not sustainable. That's not how we want things to go. That's overworking yourself. So it just pays to show love, right? It pays to focus on others. One thing that John Maxwell said is that kind of is that he walks slowly through the crowd, he walks slowly through the office, and he walks slowly through his team. And so if you start to walk slowly, then you're gonna spend more time with people. You're gonna pour more, be able to hear where they are, right? To be able to pour more into them and to love them. How can you love them if you don't know what's going on in their lives? So that's key. I loved hearing that. You can never get too big, right? So I don't care if I'm diamond, double diamond, triple diamond. I want to walk slowly through my team, whatever that looks like at triple diamond. But I want to walk slowly, okay? And then, we rise by lifting others. And so any moment, and I don't have time to go through all the ways we can love on our team. Y'all can brainstorm on those things, but any moment that and any opportunity that we get to show that love, whether it's a voice clip and just saying, hey, I was thinking about you, how's everything? Has nothing to do with the business, right? If we can do a shout out, even to a person that just, hey, they did something they normally don't do. They posted that day. Wow, like this person never posts, that we can do a shout out for somebody and encourage them in that way. So they're just little things that we can do, that just say, I love you and I see you and I'm thinking about you. So I'm done, and I'm going to pass it on to.
It's going to be me.
All right, okay.
Okay, awesome. Anyone else just feeling like so pumped up for your business? Like all these words, like you feel all the emotions at every plexus thing. I feel like you want to cry, like we're crying at Nicole's story. And then I feel like Roxy kind of pumped us up, and then Summer's telling us to love all these people. Like you feel all the things when you're at plexus stuff. You're always like, I don't know what to do. But before we close out, I would love for all of y'all in the chat to send, what is your goal this month? Like, I want you to put it out there, because anytime you tell someone else, even if it's just in a Zoom chat, you are putting it out there to the world. Oh, I see someone said sapphire, re-rank gold. Yeah, put it out there and let people know. And y'all, don't be afraid. Let someone know on your team. If you don't already have a sideline sister, if you haven't told your upline yet your goal, like tell them that, utilize your upline, or if she's not active, whoever is there in your team to help you, get on a call with them. Like, don't be afraid. Like, y'all, sometimes people message me, are like, I don't want to bother you. And I'm like, this is my job. Like, we're here to help you. Whoever that is you signed up with, they want to help you. So make sure you utilize them. I love seeing all of these goals. Does anyone else have anything to add before we jump off? Anything? Okay, awesome. Well, I hope that y'all enjoyed this. We did record it, so I will get this posted for everyone, and hopefully y'all can share it with your teams. But y'all go out, make big goals. This month, it's only the 8th of the month. So much can happen in, heck, a day in 2 hours in this business. So you can make that big, hairy, audacious goal, whatever we call it, and you can make it happen. So please work your business this month. You deserve it. The people on your team deserve it. And I hope that you take all these things to heart. I'm so glad y'all got to get on here, and I hope that y'all have a great rest of your night.